Yesterday, Sayadaw explained that good and bad deeds by body, speech and mind are creating good and bad results. And if one thinks about it ordinarily, it may be unbelievable. But if one considers it as cause and effect, it is acceptable that good and bad deeds can bring good and bad results. These good and bad deeds done by body, speech and mind, they are also conditioned phenomena, so they arise and pass away just as any other conditioned phenomena. But when they pass away, they leave the potency which can give result to good and bad results. So these good and bad deeds have this potency in order to give result whenever they have chance to give result. And Sayadaw will explain today. Sayadaw explained about the word sandhana. Sandhana is the continuous process of nama-rupa phenomena arising continuously one after another. It is called sandhana. And an example is given. Water flows in a current continuously, just like a stream of current flowing continuously. In the same way, consciousness are arising one after another continuously, just like a current. So there are consciousness arising one after another, seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, bending, stretching, turning. There is no stop, but these phenomena are arising continuously. So in life, the nama-rupa phenomena are arising continuously, one after another, just like a current. These nama-rupa phenomena arising continuously, just like a current, they are relating to each other as cause and effect. The arising of these nama-rupa phenomena continuously, one after another, this current flow of nama-rupa phenomena is called sandhana. So in life, beings do good and bad deeds by body, speech and mind. In order to do these actions, good and bad actions by body, speech and mind, there is cetana, volition, causing good and bad deeds. Good volition will give rise to good deeds by body, speech and mind, and bad volition will lead to bad action by body, speech and mind. So this volition is called cetana, or in another word, it is called Kamma. And these good and bad deeds arise and pass away. Even though they pass away, there is this potency to give result. other consciousness, such as seeing, hearing, they do not have potency to give result. In the example of seeing, the sight or visible object strikes the eye base, and when this visible object strikes the eye base, there is seeing consciousness. One does not have to make the effort to see, but seeing consciousness will take place when the visible object strikes the eye base. And the same goes with hearing consciousness and so on. These seeing consciousness, hearing consciousness do not have potency to give result. But the other consciousness, such as wholesome deed, wholesome consciousness, unwholesome consciousness, good deeds, bad deeds, they have potency to give result. Even though they pass away, the potency to give result into good and bad results are left behind. So wholesome Cetana and unwholesome Cetana, they pass away, but they have this potency to give rise to good and bad results, even though they pass away. Whether one performs dana or whether one observes precept, morality, there is volition that is causing this good deed of dana or sila. This volition arises together with the wholesome mind at times. And this volition is conducting the wholesome or unwholesome consciousness to arise. When one is performing killing or stealing, it is done by unwholesome mind that is caused by unwholesome cetana or unwholesome volition. So this cetana arises together with the unwholesome mind that causes the person to do bad action. The volition that arises together with this unwholesome mind, the cetana that is associating with this unwholesome mind, is called sahajata cetana. And this sahajata cetana has a great momentum, even though the wholesome consciousness, unwholesome consciousness pass away, but they leave this potency to give result to good and bad results. So they leave the potency to give result at whatever time where the situation will be favorable. Whenever there is opportunity, such Kamma will bring good and bad results. There is also Nanakanika Cetana, the volition in the past, will give result at any time later on, and it is called Nanakanika Cetana. Saraji explains by giving an example. A person goes into primary school, and after learning at primary school, the person goes on to secondary school, high school, and his or her education will become higher and higher. It is because the person has this foundation of education in the primary level that he can go on to study secondary and high school level until the person becomes a graduate. The person may have forgotten whatever he she had learned in the primary school, but the knowledge he gained from primary level is a support for him or for her to study to the next step of secondary level or high school level. So in the same way, the deed that one has done will give rise to result whenever there is opportunity. Another example is given. Parents, they take care of the young children. They give nutritious food to the children so that the children will have healthy bones, strong muscles, and so on. So the parents give their children nutrition that are full of vitamins and minerals so that the children will grow fast. They will have healthy bones, good muscles, and so on. The nutritious food does not make the child grow rapidly, but as the child is given nutritious food every day, the nutrition the child gets will gain momentum and the child will grow well with healthy bones and strong muscles. It may not be different all of a sudden, but there is a big difference among the children who are who were taken care by the parents by giving nutritious food to the children who do not receive nutritious food. And another example is given. A fruit grows from a tiny stage. The fruit will become ripe, matured, and finally the fruit drops from the tree. When the fruit perishes, even though the fruit perishes, it leaves behind the potency to give rise to new tree in the seed. It is not possible to show where is this potency to give rise to new tree in the fruit, in the seed. But one cannot deny the fact that the seed has this potency to give rise to new tree. So in the same way, when one performs good and bad action, in this wholesome and unwholesome mind, there is volition, cetana, associating with this wholesome and unwholesome mind. It is called Sahajata cetana. And also there is Nanakanika cetana, the volition that lead to good and bad, wholesome and unwholesome consciousness. And this cetana will give rise to result in the future whenever there is opportunity. So in the text it is said that sweet fruit, when you plant the seed of a sweet fruit, it will give rise to the plant which gives sweet fruit. And if one plants the seed of a sour fruit, this fruit will give rise to the fruit tree that gives sour fruit. So it depends on the seed that one grows. If one plants a bitter fruit, then one will have the tree that gives bitter fruit. So in the same way, a person who is good-natured, who is blameless, cultured, gentle, when this person performs good deeds with good volition, such person will have good results. A bad person with bad volition, because of his bad volition, the person will be doing bad action by body, speech and mind, and such bad person will have bad results. So that's why Buddha said that even though good and bad deeds, they arise and pass away, but because of this good and bad volition, one can have good and bad results due to the good and bad volition. Even though the volition and the deed pass away, but they leave the potency to give rise to good and bad action. Good and bad results. Whether one performed good deed or bad deed, good action or bad action, his or her good and bad action are his or her own possession. So it's called Kamma. One has one's own possession of good and bad deeds he, she has done. And such good and bad deeds will follow the person to the next existences. So in life, one cannot take material things into the next existence. Even in this very life, sometimes it is impossible to take or to take away the material things one owns. But one can take one's deeds done by body, speech and mind into the next existence. So that's why it is said that beings have their deeds as their own possession. So when one is reborn in the next life, he, she carries good and bad deeds they had done automatically. Performing good action, this action will be carried onto the next life. Performing bad action as well, this bad action, bad deed, will be carried onto the next existences. That's why one needs to have this view, the knowledge that beings have their own deeds, have their own actions as their possession, and it is called Kamma Samadhi. One should accumulate wholesome deeds as much as one can. It will be one's own possession, one's own good possession. But it is not good to be accumulating unwholesome deeds. If one has unwholesome deeds as one's own possession, such person will encounter a lot of suffering in life and also in the lives that are to follow. So people should have wholesome deeds as their own possession. That's why it is said that wholesome deeds are called Kamma. Wholesome deeds are the possession people should have. And unwholesome deeds are called Kamma. Unwholesome deeds are not the kind of possession one should have. The momentum of unwholesome deeds will bring bad results, so one should avoid, one should refrain from doing unwholesome deeds. If one performs unwholesome deeds, he/she will encounter bad results and suffering. So one should avoid from doing bad deeds, and one should only do wholesome deeds. One should accumulate wholesome deeds as much as one can, in many ways, in various ways, so that one does not need to worry if one has a lot of possessions of wholesome deeds. Sayadaw gives an example. When traveling, one needs to take money or credit card or possession. When the person has enough in either cash or credit card, this person does not need to worry on his or her trip. The person can just check into any hotel, stay in comfort, travel in comfort. In the same way, one needs to take one possession of wholesome deeds so that one does not need to worry in life and also in other existences that are to follow. So this Kamma Samadhi is present even when Buddha has not come into existence. And this Kamma Samadhi is the foundation. With Kamma Samadhi, one can practice dana, sila, and mundane kind of jhana. One will have the chance to do wholesomeness based on Kamma Samadhi. And thus, one can be reborn as a human, or one can be reborn in the Deva realm or the Brahma realm. So even when Buddha Sasana was not flourished, this Kamma Samadhi existed. If Kamma Samadhi becomes extinct in one world, this Kamma Samadhi will be present in the other world. In this way, Kamma Samadhi is never extinct. And the wise people say that Kamma Samadhi is compared to the light, so that the world will not be in the dark. That's why Kamma Samadhi is called light of the world. Having Kamma Samadhi, one can perform wholesome deeds, even though the wholesome deed the person does may not be a high one. But having this Kamma Samadhi, one understands that good deeds bring good results, bad deeds bring bad results, so the person can at least stay away, can at least refrain from misconduct and accumulate wholesome deeds, having this Kamma Samadhi. the world will be in dark if there is no Kamma Samadhi. If people do not have the knowledge that good deeds bring good results, bad deeds bring bad results, then the world will be in dark. Not knowing that good deeds bring good results, they will not do wholesome deeds. Not knowing that bad deeds bring bad results, they will be doing unwholesome deeds, and there will be doubt, uncertainty, wrong view, and thus the people will be encountering danger and harm because they fail to perform good deeds, they fail to refrain bad deeds. Without Kamma Samadhi, the world will be in dark. And this Kamma Samadhi is the light of the world. Even if this Kamma Samadhi becomes extinct in one world, it will flourish in the other world. So there will not be all darkness. One should understand that unwholesome deeds are disgusting, they are shameworthy, and they are frightening. If one performs bad deeds, one will lose one's reputation, and also one's bad deed will hurt others. So in this way, bad deeds are shameworthy and frightening. If the person understands this way, the person will have moral shame and moral fear from doing bad deeds. Having this hiri and uttapa, moral shame and moral fear, the person can refrain from bad deeds. And this hiri uttapa is just like the white color which repels heat. Just as the white color repels heat, in the same way, having hiri uttapa, one can repel unwholesome deeds. That's why hiri uttapa is called sukha dhamma, because it is compared to the white color repelling heat. Having hiri and uttapa, one will refrain from bad deeds, and thus one will have a good control of oneself. Having good control of oneself, one's own world will be peaceful, and thus the surrounding will also be peaceful. That's why hiri uttapa, moral shame and moral fear, is called lokapala dhamma. It is the hiri uttapa is the guardian of the world. Having hiri uttapa, moral shame and moral fear, the person refrains from bad deeds, perform good deeds, and thus the person will shine. Hiri uttapa, moral shame and moral fear, makes the person shine. That's why hiri uttapa is called deva dhamma. Based on Kamma Samadhi, the person will have hiri uttapa, moral shame and moral fear, which are called sukha dhamma, lokapala dhamma, and deva dhamma. That's why Kamma Samadhi is called the junction. It is the junction where one can take the path of wholesome deeds. 1 hour is up, so Janaji will continue next day how Kamma Samadhi is a support in order to perform wholesome deeds and to refrain unwholesome deeds.